This is my UFC 135 predictions for John Jones versus Rampage. This card looks pretty decent, pretty good. I'm excited about some of these fights on this card. Let's first start off with Ben Rothwell versus Mark Hunt. Well, this fight, I don't even know why this is on the main card, because Mark Hunt has really on a serious losing streak. I think he's lost his last 6 of 7. I mean, Hunt has some punching power, but I don't even know why he's even on the card. I thought he would have been fired a long time ago, but they put him up against Rothwell, which this should be an easy win for Rothwell. Rothwell should go in and pretty much do what he wants to Hunt. Hunt shouldn't even be anywhere close to the UFC, but I guess the UFC is forgiving in some aspects. So this should be an easy end for Rothwell with a I would say I would go a first round stoppage on this fight for Ben. Let's move on to the next one, which is Nate Diaz versus Gomi. This fight here is an interesting fight. Nate is going back to lightweight, which is quite interesting, but in itself. But Nate is really trying to really come up to the standard that his brother, not get out of his brother's shadow, and he's doing a fairly good job on it. He's had some hard losses. Gomi, on the other hand, is trying to get back what he had back in his Pride days and really kind of show everybody that he's still that dominant fighter that he was in Pride. Is that the case? No, it's not the case. Gomi has really lost a lot of step. Back in the Pride days, you had all types of guys who pretty much were in that one facet of a fighting style, where now every guys are really well-rounded and they're really true mixed martial artists. So Nate Diaz versus Gomi. Gomi has already lost to his brother back in 2007, which was a big upset back then, and he beat him by Gogo Plata. That was a good, exciting fight. If you haven't seen that one, go on YouTube and check it out. But I see Diaz going in there and pretty much using his striking ability to, keep Gomi confused, and then I see him taking him to the ground and submitting him. So, but in both aspects, I would say that Nate Diaz is better in both the boxing stand up and in the jiu-jitsu on the ground. So this one should be, I won't say an easy one because Gomi is still a formidable opponent, but it should be one that Diaz should be able to weather the storm, the flurries, and to really stay away from Gomi's, that heavy right hand that he always just is waiting on to throw a bomb on. If he can weather that and use his boxing skills like he always does, get him to the ground, submit him, it'll be an easy night for Diaz. So the next fight we have is Travis Brownie versus Rob Ruffington. This fight is a good fight also. Brownie is coming off of a knockout over Struve, the big tall guy, Stefan Struve, and I think it was like May, I believe. He's improved his record, I believe, to, I think he's 11-0. I think he's 11-0 with a draw. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong about that. He's a big guy, really, really strong guy. I mean, he has really some knockout power. He's a very entertaining fighter because you're just waiting on that hard hit that he's going to get to knock the guy straight out. Now his opponent, Rob, he does hit hard also, but he doesn't have a very good ground game. I mean, he has a ground game better than Brownie, but he just I feel like he's not going to take it to the ground. His ground game is better than Brownie, but these guys tend to not necessarily take it to the ground and try to get that exciting knockout. You know, a lot of fighters have that. I don't know, it's a phobia, but they don't really like to go to what they normally go to. They want to show that their boxing or their striking ability is better if they're great at the ground, and vice versa. If they're great on the ground, great standing up, then they don't want to stand up. They want to show they're good on the ground. And this is no different from his opponent, Rob Ruffington. He's going to go in there trying to stand up, trade punches, and that's again exactly what Brownie's going to want. Brownie's going to want him to go in there and trade punches with him, and he's going to get knocked out in the process. So I have Travis Brownie winning the fight, second round TKO. Let's move on to the co-main event, which was Matt Hughes versus Diego Sanchez, but Diego hurt his hand, so now it's Josh Koscheck. You know, Josh Koscheck has been looking for this fight for a very, very long time. For some reason, AKA has this vendetta against Matt Hughes that they want to have this fight, have one of their members get into a fight with him, especially Josh Koscheck. So Matt Hughes, you know, I think this is his last fight on his contract. His previous loss was against BJ Penn. Everyone is really expecting him to retire after this match, win or lose. Matt has also said that his family and whatnot wants him to stop fighting after this fight. Matter of fact, they don't even want him to take this fight, but they definitely want him to stop afterwards. But he still hasn't made his mind up of what he wants to do. Matt is a great wrestler, great ground and pound, but just recently he's on a downhill slope. Excuse me, guys. He's on a downhill slope, and he's going against a guy who's a young guy who's just coming off of his loss against GSP, who's an excellent wrestler. Excellent. His stand-up is no joke either. And I just see, Josh going in there and being faster, stronger, and having more, I'm not going to say more technique, because I think the experience really counts for something with Hughes. But when you're going against a great wrestler like Josh Koscheck, and you're actually going against a guy whose stand up isn't too bad at all, who's just improving, and just coming off of a loss against the second pound for pound fighter. And even though he really didn't do too much in that fight, it just shows that he can weather the storm against a guy of that caliber. And not only that, but he got all the way up to that top. When's the last time that Matt Hughes has been able to get up to those rank and go through all those people to get that title shot? It's been a very, very long time. So that right there should show you where Josh Koscheck and Matt Hughes stand with each other. It would have been a really good fight, a better fight for Matt Hughes if he would have went against Diego Sanchez. But for this fight, I just think he's going to get out-wrestled and just get dominated in this fight, and have Koscheck winning this fight by strikes in the second round. So we have the main event, which is Jon Jones versus Quentin Rampage Jackson. I'm very interested in this fight only because Quentin Rampage is really one of my favorite fighters. Jon Jones is an up-and-coming guy who's very, very, very talented. Obviously, he's so talented that he's the light heavyweight champion. These guys seem to have some type of actual bad blood between them two. And they look like they really want to go in there and hurt each other with the whole you know, John Jones supposedly spying on Rampage, and Rampage outing the person and faking injuries and things of that nature. They seem to really have some really huge animosity towards each other, which is always good for a fight, hyping it up. But just skill-wise, these guys are really good. Rampage is really good at what he does, which is boxing and takedown defense. John Jones is great at everything. I haven't really seen anything that he's not good at. I mean, he's really unorthodox, and everybody knows his last destruction of Shogun, and the list goes on and on and on about how great John Jones is and what he does. But I really want to see if someone can really test his chin, and Rampage is the person to really test his chin. And I feel like that's the that's the only way Rampage will win this fight, is if he catches John Jones with a good shot. I've seen, Rashad. Remember in that last round, he just nipped him on the chin, and Rashad went straight to the ground. And for some odd reason, Rampage couldn't finish him off. He was hitting the ground instead of hitting his face for the ground and pound. But I really want to see if someone can test John Jones' chin and really kind of put the pressure on him, because it seems like every fight that John Jones has, he's putting the pressure on his opponent and not the other way around. So if Rampage can put the pressure on Jones instead of doing a counterpunch game, because I think the counterpunch game will not work for Rampage in this fight. It will not work. The guy has huge reach, and the counterpunching game is just not going to happen. You have to really pressure John Jones, put him into a corner, and land some hard-hitting blows. But with all that being said, there's no way I can go against John Jones. I think it's going to be the same thing that happened to Shogun, just being overwhelmed with the reach, the unorthodox skills, and knees, elbows, and takedowns galore, and it's just going to be too much. And this may be the first time in a long time that we've see Rampage overwhelmed by punches and get finished. All of his previous fights he's lost has been by decision. But I think he may get finished in this one, and he's going to get finished in the third round due to elbows. I think that's going to be the kicker. Knees and elbows. Knees to get him down, and then elbows to finish him off. So that is my prediction for UFC 135. Please rate, comment, and subscribe as usual, guys. Check out my other videos. Please, if you guys would like to follow me on Twitter, it will be link here below in the description, and it will be on the screen here. I will do my review of UFC 135 as soon as it's over. Peace.